Welcome in, everyone, to another episode of Monsters with Attitude. I'm your host for the evening, Samson West, and to my this way is, let's go down the roster.
Well, I guess I'll go first. What's up, Kaiji family? This guy's Little Train 1090, and of course, the crew of Monsters with Attitude is coming to your station today with another wonderful discussion. Cannot wait to talk about one of my favorite Godzilla movies of all time. This is going to be a very fun discussion. Can't wait, Samson.
I'm looking forward to it too, man. And after you comes way over there.
All I have to say is Alpha.
Sonoris.
Come on, man.
And to my below me, we have.
Hi, I'm Elijah.
You're also blown out as shit. So next to him, long time no see.
Long time no see. Of course, Michael is here to start. The party can now start. Fuck yeah.
I guess, yeah, we couldn't get it started without you. And lastly, who do we have at the bottom right?
Hi, I'm Joe, and I'm an alcoholic.
Joe makes a really good vine.
All right, so as a lot of us know, it is the 50th anniversary of the mechanical menace himself, Mechagodzilla. We are half a decade into the robotic doppelganger that a lot of us are pretty happy that exists in this world. God, I don't know how to host. So let's just go ahead and hop into the questions. Let's see if I can figure out how to add this on stage.
While figuring that out.
Hey, so
Very nice, Samson. Very nice.
question number one. Thank you.
So
What was your introduction to the movie? If you can tell your story, how you first came across this glorious piece of cinema, I'd love to hear it.
Who do you want to go
I guess
first?
I'll go first.
Let's go in order. Yeah, down the line.
So, ironically enough, I actually saw Terror Mechagodzilla before I saw this. So I was really surprised, like, wait, hold on, there's another Mechagodzilla movie before this movie? So, of course, I walked my little happy young self to Hollywood Video, and I saw Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla sitting on the shelf. And obviously, I had to grab it. I've been in love with this movie since I want to say 11 years old. Definitely one of the Godzilla movies I saw a lot growing up. So that was my introduction to Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
Very nice. Eric, you're next.
You know, honestly, I couldn't even tell you. I don't remember how I got into it or when was the last time or the first time I saw it. Like, I have no recollection of when I actually first saw it, honestly. I just know that I had the VHS as the Cosmic Monster.
Yeah, Cosmic Monster.
So that's how I saw it. It wasn't even Mechagodzilla; it was Cosmic Monster. I just know that I thought it was different than Mechagodzilla because they called him the Cosmic Monster. But yeah, other than that, I don't know when I got it or anything like that. It's just kind of a blur where I just saw it. So.
Right on. Like most of us, it happened in our childhood, which is great. All right, and we have our big-brained young man down here with all the facts, usually. Elijah, go for it.
Okay. Do I sound better, by the way? Did my mic adjust?
Yeah, you sound better.
Okay.
You're fine.
It's okay, Blanche.
Young for that, man.
Okay, so there's two stories here, and one of them is true, and one of them is fabricated, and I don't know which one is which.
Okay.
So the first one that could be accurate, or I'm thinking of 54, was back when I was diving into the franchise for the first time. I started with Terror of Mechagodzilla as well. First Godzilla movie, best Godzilla movie ever, peak cinema. I had no idea that this movie existed, and back when I was a wee lad, it was known as Godzilla versus the Cosmic Monster. Not the Bionic Monster and not Mechagodzilla. So it's one of two things. One is I just so happened to like stumble upon a VHS with it recorded on it, but I want to say that I want to say it's that story that just in storage we stumbled upon this VHS that already had it on there, and from there I watched it. I think they ended up we ended up recording it onto one of the other VHSs with the other movies, because I had like 5 VHSs that like had all the movies on them, and we ported it over. So it was awful. It looked awful. I actually don't remember. So when I finally got a hold of the DVD, the opening with Anguirus, I had no idea that existed, because the recording started like with the title sequence, not the actual Anguirus opening. So unless that was just cut from the original US edit, which it very well could have been. I haven't watched that version in a long time. So it's either that or my aunt had the Anchor Bay 1997 mural Godzilla VHS tapes that had Mechagodzilla, Megalon, Son of Godzilla, 85, and Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster that created the 85 mural. And I would just watched it that way. But I don't think that's the accurate story.
Well, thank you for that complete waste of time.
All right.
Well, I will obviously make mine much shorter and much sweeter.
Well, you're used to being much shorter and much sweeter, Michael.
And you're used to being nope, can't say that. Anyway,
Michael, really.
I like Adrian saw Terror first in 1994 during TNT's Monster Vision when they had their New Year's Day Godzilla marathon. I did not watch Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 74 until I got the VHS copy. And now the VHS manufacturer, I cannot remember the name of it, but it was the artwork of Heisei Godzilla versus, it was the illustrated artwork of Heisei Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. So it was Godzilla versus the Cosmic Monster when I first watched it as well.
Yeah.
Eric. So I got to witness the original American dub in my childhood, and that dub will always be close to my heart. That is the one I always go back to because I love it so much. Something's wrong. Anyway, we'll go back. We'll get there.
That's gonna happen. Yeah.
Jojo, you're next.
Mine's honestly pretty easy. My local Blockbuster that I wouldn't get to go to too frequently because it was kind of far away, but they had 5 Godzilla films there, and one of them was Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. So I was kind of like on a rotation of those 5 for like a long time, and so I was able to rent it luckily from a local Blockbuster. And for those of you youngins, Blockbuster is a place where us old folk used to go and pay money to bring home a movie, and then we'd have to return it.
For real.
First of all, Joe, who are you calling old? Who are you calling old?
I'm calling myself old.
I'm the
We had
oldest out
to
of all of you.
rewind it.
Yes,
If
you
anybody
are.
knows what it means,
Yeah,
rewind.
be kind.
Rewind it.
Please rewind.
Who here actually rewound their tapes when they were done?
I did, because my very first job.
Sometimes.
Well,
Yeah.
my first job was like mowing grass, but like I did that like whatever. But like my first actual like payroll job was at a video rental place in I live. So I remember I hated the people that wouldn't, so I always did once I was older. Yeah.
And I would say the only reason why I actually rewound my tapes is if you ever had that one device that's the only purpose was to rewind tapes, and some were like shaped into little cars, And I just loved it because I'd put it in there. You put it down, and like the headlights would turn on,
Yep.
and then you just hear it go. "Woo." That's
Yeah,
the
we
only
had
reason
one.
why I would never do
Ours
this.
was a supposed to be like a Ford Mustang. I remember,
Yeah.
like ours was.
You know,
Well, our Blockbuster started implementing the rewind charge. They would charge you if you did not rewind that shit. So my dad was very adamant about, you better rewind that damn tape before you put that back in the case. Because he was like, I'm not paying that $5 charge on that shit.
Yep.
my VHS player, I never went to the Blockbusters that had VHSs in them, but when I watched VHSs, which was very frequent, I had a VHS player that once it would hit the end of the tape, it would automatically rewind it. So I wouldn't have
fancy
to.
one.
Yeah, it was. I love that thing.
You were one of those rich folk.
Right?
You probably have a paved driveway too. So for me, I got started at the ripe old age of 4 years old, and Mechagodzilla was my entryway into the franchise. And I have photo evidence of said instance. As a young lad, bright early Christmas morn, in a Batman t-shirt riding a zebra, I got my copy of Godzilla versus Cosmic Monster. And there it is. So my dad got me that back in 95, Christmas in 95, so 4 years old. And thanks to a kind gentleman out in the world of collecting, the host of Monster Report, Adam sent me, since I lost my copy, he sent me out of the kindness of his heart. It has that artwork that you were talking about, Michael. This great,
love that art.
So now I have it back. It's just it's really clean too. It's
That's
super
awesome.
clean. The VHS tape looks great. The artwork looks good. I should probably make myself bigger. How do I do that? I don't know.
Viagra.
Yeah, he gave that back to me. Now I have a piece of childhood memorabilia that I lost. I mean, through my 20-something years of collecting this, it's gone. I don't know where it is, but now I have it back. It may not be the original, but I still have what got it started for me. So that's
really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah,
That's
Nick's
awesome.
a sweetheart.
Nick's
I
awesome.
found this is off kind of off topic, but on the thing of VHSs, I found a Godzilla vs. Megalon VHS at a like thrift store or like antique store somewhere. My wife and I were on our way home from somewhere, and I was like, world's largest antique mall or whatever, and we stopped there, and they had a Godzilla vs. Megalon VHS, and I bought it. It was like $1. It was pretty.
I don't blame you. I would have bought it too.
Nice.
all right. Well, if that concludes all of our introductions to the film, let's move on to question number dos. Eventually.
Tell Agent Number 1 to steal the statue of King Caesar as soon as possible.
All right. Now we're going to go into talking about what we think of the human story of the film. The monster action's all great and fun and amazing, but what do we all think of what they did with the human story with our I don't really know what to call our main heroes. We got the main hero, the reporter, or actually she's not a reporter, the scientists, and then the of course black hole aliens and that whole situation. So take it away.
I go first again. No, the human story has always been something that's always kept my interest. I really do love the human story in this movie. Of course, I know as kids we usually fast forward past the human action to get to the monster action, but this is really a really intriguing story. It had a lot of espionage in it. A lot of they would keep trying to steal the statue. Fights kept breaking out, even though that was probably the worst fighting I've seen in Godzilla movies since '92. But that's neither here or there. But the human story is really fun. And of course, we have the beautiful princess who sings the King Seesaw song, which I don't know if my voice is good enough today to sing it, but we'll see later.
Oh god.
What about you, Eric? What did you think?
I liked it. It's one of the human stories that actually is intriguing, and it actually keeps you focused on the movie, I guess, just because, like you said, there's like, there's Interpol spies, and they're investigating the so-called visitors, they kind of like the Interpol agent said they sprung a kind of a net, and the innocent bystanders got caught into it, and stuff, and they got tangled into this world of aliens trying to come and take over the world kind of thing and stuff, and then all of a sudden throw in these prophecies that is based off of Japanese cultures and stuff like that. And then they have this key that will set free this savior kaiju, and stuff like that. So everybody's after it and whatnot. So it was definitely a good human story. And I just have to say, like, they had some of Toho's like upper actors and actresses in this movie. They had
Veterans.
some really, some noticeable people that were in it and everything. That was it was great to see, because I mean, we saw them, in the 50s and everything like that, some of the 60s, but then they come back in the 70s and stuff. So that was great to see and everything. But yeah, overall, it was great.
Right on, Elijah.
Okay.
Okay,
so
Michael.
Okay, I'll go first. I'll go because I don't.
Go for it, kid. Go for it.
are we sure?
Yeah,
Yes.
we're positive.
Okay. So, okay, this film kind of, I'm going to use the term reeks, but I don't mean it in a bad way. It reeks of a Shinichi Sekizawa script.
Hey Siri,
and
set a 1 minute timer, please.
And that's a really good thing. We have the two stories, and that's something that I think Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla does a very good job at, is clarifying two separate stories, one for the humans, one for the monsters. Godzilla has his whole side journey that is not meant to be the headlining story, which I always appreciate that, because I'm in the rare camp of I go for the kaiju and stay for the humans. So it's interesting to see that. And not only that, I love the fact that the humans are fighting the humans, in air quotes. It's the aliens, right? But their actions directly impact everything. They're the ones trying to stop Mechagodzilla. They're the ones that awaken King Caesar, like Eric talked about the prophecies and whatnot.
Oh, time's up. Sorry, time's up.
And Samson.
I'm joking. I'm joking, Elijah. I have to pay off the joke. Go ahead.
So it is really fun to be able to watch and see a Godzilla movie do this. And by this point, that was something that the franchise was really lacking. I mean, just before this, we had Godzilla versus Megalon, which didn't even have a script. So this is a huge step up from that, right? And I really enjoy there's a lot of interesting things going on in this movie. It's a very active film. There's never really a dull moment between all of the characters and all of the issues going on, right?
That's true.
So overall, I think this is one of the most it is probably the second most engaging script from the 70s, when they had a reduced production time and pre-production and writing time, and I really appreciate it for that aspect.
I think it's probably one of the most engaging scripts, period, in the franchise. Probably. I mean, I will admit that Terror is a more interesting story, even though I like this movie more, because I think it's the superior film. But I do like this. I do like the story. So I'm a huge fan of 1960s and 1970s Bond films. So that's what I grew up watching with my dad. So this movie reminds me a lot of a James Bond movie. It's got a lot. It's got espionage. It's got really engaging characters. Like we can't forget about the black hole aliens. You know, Mr. Kurenuma. We cannot forget about him as just one as one of the best villains of the franchise. It's just a really engaging story, and I really enjoyed it. So I really enjoyed it, and I'm not gonna belabor the point that Eric and Elijah has already made, but this is probably one of the best scripts in the franchise. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Jojo.
Yeah, I agree with everything y'all said, so I'll keep mine short so we're not sitting here repeating everything. Love Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. The kaiju action's great, but what keeps the movie flowing is the human interaction and the characters, which I love. I think it's a lot of fun. It's a good time. They're engaging, and sometimes, excuse me, in these movies, you're really dragging between the monster fights, and you're just really like, oof, but I don't ever feel like that in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, so I give that 2 big thumbs up.
All of y'all made great points. Adrian, I'm going to feed off you a little bit. The fact that it has so much going on in it, whether it be the mystical aspect with the granddaughter and the old man and the statue and the royal family, the Interpol secret agent story, the scientist, Dr. Miyajima, and his everybody. There was almost like a separate human story for every character. There's a separate group. There was like the people with the statue. Then there was the scientists being captured by the black hole aliens, the Interpol agents, and just everything about it was really engaging, and it kept you wanting more. It's never like, all right, for the love of God, when am I gonna see Godzilla next? Let's get going. It's like, okay, woo, what's gonna happen with these characters? And I'm a little biased again, as I explained. It was my first film, so it's just great. It's fun. The human story does not lack at all, in my opinion.
It's kind of interesting too. Eric brought this up. How this was kind of the first time, and I was thinking about it while you're saying your point, Samson. This is the first time since 1967 that we had some of the classic Toho actors of the early 60s. I'm trying to remember the names off the top of my head, but I know Son of Godzilla had
the guy that plays Dr. Miyajima.
Yes. But after 67, that's when like Akira Kubo started becoming prominent, and all of the other actors all the way until 69. So I guess that was a short-lived time. And then that's when the whole studio system kind of collapsed in on itself, and they started doing the less prominent actors, and because contracts were up and whatnot. So seeing some of these, like Akihito Hirata, who was in Son of Godzilla, and I think was he in Destroy All Monsters briefly? I don't think so. Yeah.
I want to say he was.
Yeah, briefly. I think.
This is one of his last roles in the franchise. After this, he would be in Terror of Mechagodzilla's Dr. Mifune, and then that would be it for him. So it's really cool to see some of these actors. Hiroshi Koizumi, love that actor. It's really awesome to see them return in this film and be prominent characters that help. I mean, they're supporting, right? They're not the main characters by this point. Their prime is past, but it is really cool to see them return after so long.
All right, let me get the questions back up because I accidentally, when I backed out, it got rid of it. So let's see. That's question one.
While you're doing that, Samson, we did have an interesting question in the chat. How much screen time did Godzilla have? I want to say it was like 7 minutes and 34 seconds. Am I off base with that? Does that sound about right? It
You mean the
wasn't that
monster
much
fighting
screen
or
time.
just Godzilla?
Just
The
Godzilla.
monsters
I want to say like 7 minutes, I think. If I remember right.
I've never done the math. That's
Eric's
that's
checking.
I'm not good at that. But the monster action in the film in general is great because there's a lot of scenes and sequences with the monsters. It doesn't lack in monster action, which I think is another reason why we all love it so much. But anyway, let's move on to question number 3. Monsters.
7 minutes 55 seconds.
Damn, I was close.
Pretty much almost 8 minutes. So,
Yeah.
as you saw in that sequence right there that all of us know and love, let's talk about the special effects in the film. The explosions, the suits, the practical effects, the aliens, just everything. Let's get into that. What we think.
Well, it's definitely the most special effects we've gotten in a while in a Godzilla film, especially with the budget they had back then. At that time in the Godzilla franchise, they actually did have quite a bit of special effects, and it did look really good. Especially the scene that you just shown with the imposter Godzilla blowing up the refinery factory. That was an awesome scene, and of course, all the different special effects we got in the final fight with Mechagodzilla letting go of his arsenal. It's just A1.
Oh, the all-out attack. Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely show they didn't show how much of a limited budget they had. Honestly, they used every resource they could to make it look like it was a bigger budgeted movie than it really was. You know, like example, just what Adrian said. You know, the oil refinery scene, the last fight and stuff like that. Like all the explosions, everything that were happening. Like, good God, like. It was crazy, you know, and you know they threw in some of the special effects with Godzilla's atomic ray and everything, and you know Godzilla, Mechagodzilla's lasers and King Caesar's reflective eyes and everything. You know they threw that in there too, so they definitely made it seem like it was way bigger than it really was. Which I mean, kudos to them. Like they did what they had to make it look like a really good movie, and they, I think, succeeded. Like it's basically what we just got with -1. Same thing.
I would love to know if this holds the record or if it's close to the amount of pyro that they use for a Godzilla.
Oh yeah.
You would think.
The amount of pyro in this movie was really it was a lot. And like you said, and to piggyback off what you said, Eric, yes, like the budget may have been constrained for this, but you didn't necessarily feel it. Like the suits look good. Mechagodzilla looks excellent. You know, like the suit for that looks great. You know, we could argue which is better, 74 or 75, but the suit looks great in this. King Caesar looks great in this. Godzilla's suit looks great in this. All the green screen, not green screen, but all the extra, what is the name of that technique when their face changes? The apes.
It's not stop motion or
compositing.
What is that called? What is that compositing? Okay, so even the compositing looks really good. And we can make fun of like the ape masks all day. Yes, that's fine, but even to a point that all looked really great. The costuming, like the set pieces that we see in this film, all look tremendously good for the budget that they had, which makes Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla probably one of the best films in the franchise, just because of, like you said, Eric. It resembles -1 in the fact they didn't have a huge budget, but they made the best of what they had.
Yeah.
Elijah?
He does make a good point. There was a few things I would kind of, but
honestly, doesn't that just? I mean, you wouldn't if you didn't see the strings. Yeah, that's the charm of Showa. Like you see that in almost all the movies. There's something that you see if it's Rodan flying or King Ghidorah flying. Like there's the string that you see. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When King Caesar is crawling out of the ground and you can see the guy's underwear through the back of the suit as he's crawling out for a split second. The back of the suit open it up and it's like, oh, there's that guy's jock strap.
Oh, dang.
I mean, you don't remember that? Yeah, it's right as Godzilla comes ashore, and it's right before Mechagodzilla turns his head around. King Caesar is over in the ditch, and as he's crawling out, the back of the suit opens up, and you can see the suit actor and nothing but his briefs.
Oh, dang.
Huh.
On that note, Elijah.
So, you know, this by this point, Teruyoshi Nakano was doing all the special effects, which I'm of the rare opinion that he's better than Tsuburaya.
Oh boy.
I think that Teruyoshi Nakano is
Be careful.
the definitive Godzilla special effects director. I love his style. I think Tsuburaya is obviously amazing. And that's not to say that, he isn't like he's not produced some of the greatest stuff ever, because he has. But I love Hiroshi Nakano. So
It's a bot on Twitch, you guys.
I am of the opinion that this is probably Nakano's greatest work, because this is where he had the most assets to create something really, really good. It was also just really nice to see something like this after Sadamasa Arikawa took over in the late 60s. Like now we have something that's big, loud, and fun, right? Which it's great whenever we have big, loud, and fun, and we still have interesting stories and interesting humans and good special effects, which is something that some MonsterVerse movies can't say.
Kind of teetering to another one. Huh?
I can see where this is going, Joe. If you want to follow.
But yeah, the oil refinery sequence, that is beautiful. I'm a huge fan of just the color grading in those sequences. The fiery hellscape of that entire sequence is just amazing. Nakano knew how to do introductions for Godzilla. Like, he just pops out of a building. The use of blood in this movie, like this is the goriest of Godzilla films.
It is.
That's exactly why people like growing up, when people told me that's a kid show. Those are kids movies. Only kids watch that. Are you fucking serious?
But is it more gory than Gigan?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely, it is.
Godzilla being just riddled with fucking missiles in his chest and bleeding, and also that scene when the blood bubbles in the water after he gets knocked into it. That's creepy to me.
Well, let's not forget the whole King Kongified Anguirus jaw with fake Godzilla ripping. Yeah. Like it's insane. And like this, unlike Hedorah and Gigan and Megalon, this film had some beautiful miniature effects. This film had a budget to do. Granted, like by the end of the film, like the climax doesn't happen in the city; it happens in the countryside.
Yeah.
Which was par for the course for these films. But we do have city destruction sequences still, which is still amazing. Mechagodzilla, although a little bulky, looks amazing. I love the suit. I think this Godzilla looks amazing. A huge step up from Megalon. And it's just a very beautiful film in terms of VFX and SFX. And I think this is easily one of the better films that the franchise has in terms of that. There is stock footage from I believe it's Prophecies of Nostradamus and Prophecies of Nostradamus and Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, but those few sequences of stock footage aren't really that bad. It's a lot like how they were used in Astro Monster, in my opinion, where it's almost hard to tell, but you can still kind of tell.
Oh, when the girl is going, the monster will set fire to the city. It's trouble on the people that try to run away. That's that sequence in the beginning.
That sequence, yeah.
But before you go, Joe, I do completely agree with Leslie on this point. When Mechagodzilla is revealed, it's just beautiful. Love it. Love that scene.
Oh, actually, interesting tidbit about that. I have it in those Toho FS special effects books. The very last page for Mechagodzilla, there's like a large standee, and it's in the shape of Mechagodzilla facing forward. It's just wrapped in tinfoil, and they use that like to transfer and put that in front of the fake Godzilla suit and kind of like animate it frame by frame to make that effect. And they added a little bit of some sort of CGI over it. But that's how they did that sequence.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, we've been sleeping on you, man. I keep trying to mention you to go next, but finally, it's your turn.
Well, I mean, there's not much else for me to really say. I agree with all your guys' points again. I think the visual effects are great. Some of the best in the Showa, I think. I agree with Leslie's point that the Mechagodzilla review is awesome. I love the blood. I love the suits. Mechagodzilla and King Caesar. Yeah. I mean, not much else different for me to say.
I agree with everybody. The pyrotechnics, whatever the word is, that is one of the most impressive scenes in the entire film at the refinery when the fake Godzilla is coming in and blowing everything up, and just how the scale of that set. I mean, y'all have to appreciate the magnitude of what it must have taken to put that into to go into making that, because that's incredible. And I've always appreciated it. And there's one shot where you can kind of see it, like there's it's when Godzilla smashes the building and knocks it into the fake Godzilla. There's a huge fiery explosion, and you can see a shadow cast on the background. It's just a giant painted backdrop that they have for the skyline. And you just got to appreciate what they put into this, whether it's the practical effects or the CGI, or Michael, what did you call it with the transformation from person to ape?
Compositing.
I mean, it's a little cheesy, but it's still really cool. It's fun and interesting, and we hadn't really seen anything like that except for Hedra, I would say, when you see the people's faces get all melted or like messed up from Hedra. Again, the special effects with the atomic breath and the lasers and the shield that Mechagodzilla does around himself for never seen again. He does it once, then it's never seen again. All that stuff. So I give it A+. It's probably the best in terms of special effects in all of the 70s, in my opinion. That's where I hold that one. But let's go on to question 4, folks. Okay, it's a little bit longer than I expected, but
I want the statue.
All right. Y'all have to admit that this movie has some of the most fun and frequently quoted quotes. And when you think of this movie, what pops in your head? What fun quotes do you use on a daily basis in like your own life? Let's go in the opposite order this time. I want to start with Joe, and we're going to go in reverse. Back to me.
Oh, you would choose me. None.
Off to a bad start.
That was easy.
Hey, Michael.
I mean, did I use on a daily basis? I mean, no.
No. Ones that you think are fun and like maybe just that come up in your head from time to time. Just live in your head rent free. Nah, it doesn't have to be daily. But just
I don't know. I don't know if there's a lot of quotes per se. I mean, you know, the Mechagodzilla beat Godzilla to death. I mean, that one.
Pretty fucking good.
The
Alpha.
Yes, Alpha Centaurus. The princess at the beginning when she's like, you know, what's that little spiel you did there?
A monster will set fire to the city and trample on the people that try to run away.
Yeah.
Monster?
Yeah, but honestly, more than anything, and this isn't necessarily like a quote, but it's the King Caesar theme. I feel like the singing
the song.
Yeah,
goes on for an hour. Yeah.
Hey, watch your mouth.
Michael, what you think?
Goodbye, you stupid Earthlings. That's a good
I feel like
one.
you
Leslie
use that on a daily.
Leslie,
Again.
yeah. If only I could shoot real people with real lasers. That would make my you know, the whole Mechagodzilla beat Godzilla to death is always a good one. You know, we've been through some of the great ones. The King Caesar song lives in my head rent free all the time. hate it or love it. I'm singing it right now in my head as we speak because I just literally watched the film like maybe a couple of hours ago. So to say that I use them on the daily, I don't know. Like, but when I think of this film, I think there are just so many really great quotes. Godzilla beat Godzilla to death. The quote that Elijah put out there. There's just a lot of really good ones. So yeah, Elijah, go next.
Well, I was gonna say just pass, but then I realized there's one that we haven't said yet.
You better not say mine, I swear to God.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna do it.
He's gonna do it.
Space titanium? You mean it's from outer space?
It's from outer space. Oh my god.
God.
That guy, man.
Or what about Godzilla wouldn't attack his friend Anguirus?
Oh
God.
Something's wrong. Godzilla wouldn't attack his friend Anguirus. Yeah.
And Gurren shouldn't attack his friend Godzilla. Yeah, no. That's and his sporadic driving like this while he's looking up at them. Yeah, no, that's normal. Eric, what you got?
People in these movies must be like swerving all over the road because every time you see someone driving in a film, it's always like this.
Dude, Megalon is worse, dude. Those guys were seriously all over the place.
Right.
They were fucking up those brake pads in that movie, man. And tires. Jesus Christ.
I'm going to go with, hey, a beautiful night like this, you should be talking about love.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. A beautiful night like this. Oh,
did you get these questions in advance?
No.
Yeah, he's over there bleeding and shit, and she's like, he's like, he saw the whole scene.
Is just kind of just ridiculous because he he shoots the assassin off the ship and everything, and he's getting bandaged up, and he's like, oh, I think he was shot, and they're looking around. This guy comes out of nowhere. He's like, oh, a beautiful night like this, you should be talking about love. And the guy's like, what the hell did you just say? And he looks at him downstairs. Like,
gunshots and the fighting and shit.
I just love it. It's so weird.
All right, Adrian, what you think?
Caesar. I love the King Caesar song. I love her voice is beautiful.
Samson, are we going to talk about the song?
Instantly in love. It wasn't even fair. I was like, oh Jesus Christ. Every time I hear it.
I'm not gonna lie. I loathe that sequence. It's just like, oh my god, it's dragging out for so long. But Elijah makes a good point. I thought about adding that in, but I already had 10 questions. If we want, towards the end, we can talk about that if we have time.
No, it's fine. We don't have to.
I want to jump in here and say I don't understand you people because that song is easily the worst out of the 1970s songs.
What the hell do you mean, you people?
Yeah,
what do you mean by you?
All of you people.
You people.
That sounds a little racist to me, Elijah.
Oh, it's very racist to me.
One that I think of all the time is two Godzillas. What does it mean? And I use that on a day because I think of like two enter something here. What does it mean? I use that just in my regular life all the time in my head. Like I don't always say it out loud, but I think about it when there's two of something and I go, two, what does it mean? And then just it's a powerful pipe. Like it's a little on the nose there.
I've heard that a time or two.
No, I'm gonna work. I need to work that one into my next day. That's a powerful.
There you go. Yeah, it's a powerful pipe.
Let me tell you, honey, it's a powerful pipe.
Got a request from the audience.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be looking for his ass comes out.
Cut his damn mic.
Give the people what they want.
Are we talking about me?
Yes, he's talking about you.
Oh no. Oh no.
So now you got Joe and Leslie coming after you. Chief.
Specifically Elijah. There, yeah.
You should be more afraid of me, Elijah.
I'm horrified.
And of course, what I played before the question, the just pops in. I want the statue. Just it's all about the statue, man. Everybody's after this damn statue. And towards the end, like when he's like, hand it over, the old man and the girl will die. When they're talking about when the aliens try to kill the guys. Anyway, all right, let's go on to question the next one. Lost track of where we're at. All right. Since this is the introduction to this kaiju for the first time, it's a little controversial, I've heard, out in the world of Godzilla. What do y'all think, honestly, of King Caesar in the film? Some hate him, some love him. I want to hear what y'all actually think of his him as a kaiju in this movie and his what he did. We'll go back. Yeah, Joe, you want to start first again?
Thank you. Yes, I would.
You got an answer for this one?
Yeah, I do actually. I love King Caesar. He's one of my favorite Showa kaiju, and I love the play on the mythology of the Caesar or yeah, and I love his design. I thought the suit turned out fantastic. I love the reflective eyes. I like the fact that he's like, even though I guess technically the reflective eyes are an offensive weapon, it's more so based off of he has to be attacked first, which goes. I love the fact that he's a protector. So even when he attacks, it's because something attacked him first. I like that that he is the protector, he's the guardian, and so it seems like a lot of his style is almost like a defensive style of combat, and I like that. I love the song to wake him up. I like the kind of mythology behind him, that he has like a royal family that worships him, and almost kind of like a human version of the Shobijin type of thing, But yeah, I like King Caesar. I think he's really cool. I would love to see him brought back in an updated way.
Technically, he did, but it wasn't what we all wanted back in 2004.
I didn't mind him in 2004. I'm talking like I wouldn't mind him
current iteration.
Yeah, and I actually think that King Caesar could fit very well in the MonsterVerse.
I agree. No, wholeheartedly. Michael, what's up?
The sky, my cholesterol, probably my blood pressure a little bit. But no, King Caesar. I keep wanting to call it King Caesar now. King Caesar. I mean, it's a great kaiju. This is this introduction for the mythology, like Joe said, the lore for King Caesar is really interesting. Him being the protector of Okinawa, there's a lot of history there. I'm trying to remember exactly what the history is. I know that our friend Nathan wrote a big article about it, but I can't recall exactly what's in that article at the moment. But I really like King Caesar as a kaiju. I think he is a great tag team partner, and he complements Godzilla's abilities well. Even though 70s Godzilla is a little bit more of a grappler than we've seen before, King Caesar also does complement those skill sets really well, and he was able to hold his own against Mechagodzilla before Godzilla was able to get there. Overall, the design, I like it. It's historical. It looks mythical. The suit itself looked great. I always thought that the head looked a little stiff and a little helmety. I don't know how else to describe it, but it seemed like it almost felt like a Party City costume at some points, but that doesn't take away from the overall like aesthetic and look of the kaiju. So, Elijah.
I'm just going to say that Joe said it pretty well. Everything Joe said, I would agree with. I think it's awesome to have, there's a very rare category of monsters or protectors or kaiju that are gods, like legitimate gods. King Caesar's in that camp with like Daimajin, and it's really cool to see those kind of characters in these kind of roles, and it's such a vocal and wide idea for these monsters that you can do characters like Daimajin, who are angry demon gods, just killing anybody. And then you see people like, or not people, but kaiju like King Caesar that are like, very, very protective and good gods. So I think stuff like that's really cool. And yeah, I think King Caesar's a pretty cool kaiju.
Awesome. All right, Eric.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, I absolutely love how King Caesar looks. The suit looks amazing. Cool concept, all that stuff. The only issue I have, okay, so like Leslie says, like they built him up throughout the movie, okay, to be this godly protector kaiju to save, the motherland from, this evil that's coming. Okay. So King Caesar reminds me of a wrestler that's waiting for the tag, and he gets the hot tag, and he comes in and he does his little rambunctious Tasmanian devil thing, gets a few good shots on him. Then after that, bam, he is out. Like, I'm sorry, but like he gave a couple good shots on Mechagodzilla, and after that, Mechagodzilla was wiping the floor with him, and it never got any better from there for him, honestly. And honestly, I thought he was holding Godzilla back because, good Lord, when they both are getting attacked at the same time, it looks like King Caesar can't stand up, and Godzilla's like, "Get the hell off of me! I'm trying to save you!" Like, come on!
He pushes that mother. He just gets him out of the way. Like, get off! I love that.
It's crazy. Like, I love him to death, but man alive, that just reminds me of that. It's crazy.
Well, don't. Go ahead, Adrian.
Adrian? Yeah.
No, Eric took the words right out of my mouth. Honestly, I have nothing to do with Butterworth. Exactly to the T. Eric said everything I was gonna say. And again, I also love King Caesar too. I love his design, but yeah, just like Leslie and Eric said at the end, towards they hyped him up the entire movie. What he did after Godzilla got there, he was just But I still love King Caesar.
He's
as a certain someone's daughter would say, that's their puppy dog. And Eric, you know what I'm talking about.
That's true.
Yeah, King Caesar is one of my favorite Showa characters because of like the mythical aspect of the creature, and but I think when I said it's kind of controversial in the fandom, some people do and some people don't like him. It's because of what Eric and you, what y'all just mentioned. He's cool for a moment. He comes in strong, but then, dude, he gets choked out, and it just goes downhill from there afterwards. So let's see, what is it called? I believe he is known as a golem, not Lord of the Rings, but like a golem. He is a creature based on that is sentient, brought to life out of clay, earth, or mud, and it has to have like a totem, like the King Caesar statue. There's something that's attached to him that brings him to life. It's that, or they've mentioned that he is a bionic, like he might actually have ancient gears and stuff inside of him. Like he might be a robotic, kind of like a cyborg, but made from not like Mechagodzilla. So the that aspect of him is pretty interesting. If it's actually true or not, it's just fan theories. I think I don't know if there's an actual confirmation of any of that stuff, but he's a cool kaiju in general. Is he the greatest tag team partner out there? I don't know, but
No.
Regardless, it's a new kaiju for the first time, or a new tag team friend for Godzilla since Anguirus. So I appreciate him for what he is, and I think he's really cool and interesting godlike monster, a guardian.
And
So we can skip Jet Jaguar, Samson? You do Jet like that?
No one cares about Jet.
Jet Jaguar is overrated.
He's-
Oh my
I mean,
God.
we love Jet Jaguar, but in all, I mean, come on,
No, we
it is
don't.
all.
He did more than King Caesar did in his movie.
Oh, that's true.
I know. We talked about that last
Caesar all day, day.
You know, another thing that
Nobody
I kind of
asked
wish
you,
we.
Elijah.
Oh. That I wish we would have seen is the aliens do mention that King Caesar has the power to bring other monsters to life.
Yeah.
Maybe
And
in
it's
here.
like- I mean, maybe the last we saw of Anguirus, he was falling down a hole in at Monster Island, but then that would make sense for why he's burrowing underneath Japan throughout the film.
So King Caesar is responsible for all the creatures in the Hollow Earth. Is that what you're telling me?
No.
What if
gonna show
King
up-
Caesar did bring what if King Caesar did bring a monster back to life? What if Godzilla was killed in that first fight?
Ooh,
That's
interesting.
thought.
Interesting
That's
to
an
think
interesting
about.
thought.
There was a lot of blood.
There was.
That was
We
when he
saw
got
Godzilla
knocked
later,
out.
though.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was powering himself up
Born.
on the island. Okay, shit. Yeah, we skipped over that. But damn, if we didn't think about that, that's a good point.
That makes a good point, though. King Caesar.
But so
being
also
Godzilla.
I technically destroy all monsters is at the end of the Showa
Yeah.
timeline or whatever. Maybe King Caesar knew of the Keylok invasion or knew that King Ghidorah would return, and all the kaiju that we thought were dead that showed back up in Destroy All Monsters were revived by King Caesar, like Kamacuras and Kumonga, Manda.
That's
You know,
the reason Kamonga would be brought back to life. But they weren't thinking that far. That was, but no, that's an interesting.
That'd be interesting, though. That'd be an interesting concept.
that's actually my one complaint when it comes to alien invasion themes in a Godzilla film. I don't think it's ever been done right, because I don't just want to see like, oh, here's a little resistance of aliens controlling a single monster. And I think that's why maybe I like Final Wars, is because it actually showed these aliens with their spaceships, with their mothership, all attacking with all of these different monsters. And they had soldiers, they had weapons, they had, planes and trains and automobiles and everything. And I still don't think it was done perfect by any means, but it was done the most, I don't know, way I wanted. Like it would have been cool if excuse me, if like the simians had like a force, and like maybe we saw their ships, because like that's always fascinating to me, is seeing this alien technology and their race and stuff, and if we could see them invading the earth and destroying cities, and maybe Godzilla's fighting Mechagodzilla and the spaceships and the foot, you know what I mean? Like something like that. I always thought that would be really, really cool. Something that was that kind of was touched upon and done right in certain films, but not done to the grand scale that it needed to do. So
That's an interesting point.
When you said,
that's another discussion we'll have to have on a larger scale another day for sure.
when you said planes, trains, and automobiles, I just thought of something. There wasn't really any army sequences in Mechagodzilla at all. Like the army wasn't sent in to fight Anguirus or Mechagodzilla when the fake Godzilla was attacking and stuff. The army didn't come in at all in that movie.
Well, there is a line during when fake Godzilla starts his rampage. There is a line where one of the characters says it's a battlefield, implying that the military's been launched. But we never see anything.
I just think it just kind of, it's just the fact that the black hole aliens kept it all a secret. Like that
Yeah.
was their whole plan. Was it was a secret invasion. It wasn't like, oh, this is what we're gonna do. We're showing our cards to everybody and try to stop us. No, they were doing it secretively, and it's just that's why Interpol was involved, because they kind of knew about what maybe was going on. So then they were trying to stop it behind the scenes to obviously stop mass hysteria and panic and all this stuff. You know.
But don't they show Godzilla on the television? Fake Godzilla?
Yeah, they're looking because they think it's Godzilla. They don't think it's
Godzilla. They don't think it's an alien invasion.
It's just a Godzilla that has a really fucked up throat for no reason. Just can't talk.
Which they
Here I
already
am
know.
as a kid. Go ahead, Eric.
I was going to say,
Go
which
ahead,
they
Eric.
already know he exists. So to them, it's not like a huge deal. Yes, it's a big deal, but like they already know he's around. So to them, it's okay. It's just another news. It's not something that's coming to take over the world.
This is a good point that Leslie brought up earlier that we didn't get the touch base on. What was the whole point of them disguising Mechagodzilla as Godzilla in the first place? That's
think
always
that's
been a
exactly-
question that I've thought about too.
I think that's exactly it, to keep their plan a secret, because they knew that they didn't have their whole planetary force. What they have, a couple dozen people, maybe 100,
Exactly.
100 at most. Like, they knew that they didn't have, they're the last ones of their race, right? Or for sure was some of the last ones of their race, and they knew they didn't have the technology and the weaponry to take on all of Earth's military on top of Godzilla and the other monsters in the world. So they had to be strategic and kind of covert about it. I think their main plan was, we're going to stage this as it's Godzilla. If we tip off that it's Mechagodzilla right away, people will be like, who built this? They'll go searching, they'll find them, they'll kill them, they'll take over Mechagodzilla themselves. Or destroy Mechagodzilla from the inside out, kind of like in King of the Monsters, the MonsterVerse one. And then so I think they had to be covert about it and undercover, and they were gonna hopefully pick off certain sites or certain targets one by one. And then eventually, I don't think they meant to, and this is just my headcanon, but I don't think they meant to fight Godzilla as early as they did. I think that they were gonna destroy some cities, make Godzilla be the bad guy, have the military and humanity turn on Godzilla, and then they would, pick off the other monsters, the weaker ones, one by one in the disguise of Godzilla, eventually working their way up to Godzilla, and then once there was more of an opportune moment, they would have revealed themselves. But I don't think they expected to be revealed this early. No, I don't think they expected Mechagodzilla to be revealed that early, or themselves to be revealed that early. And I think it's pretty obvious because they didn't know they were being trailed by Interpol.
They do say in the film that they weren't expecting Godzilla to show up that early, and that they had plans to destroy Tokyo before Godzilla showed up. So they had already planned on destroying Japan before Godzilla showed up to take over Japan.
No, see, there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Once again, I'm right.
Godzilla was the fall guy. That's all it is.
I've been right about a lot of things, right, Elijah?
You have, Joe. Yes. You have been right.
I think that was really that. I'm proud of you. That must have hurt a lot to do that. Let's go to the next one, you guys.
On to the next.
Mechagodzilla is a cyborg that our scientists created. After careful study of the original Godzilla, does it make your mouth water?
Oh, does it make your mouth water? Damn it! That's another good one.
All right, this is where we talk about the some of our favorite toys, guys, the toys and the memorabilia.
It's the toys.
It's the toys.
What is or what do y'all consider to be the most mouth-watering collectibles out there? Or do you have definitive, like just the what is the number one mouth-watering collectible?
May I go first on this one?
Let's go. Yeah, we'll go in the other order this way. Yeah, you guys go. Hang on. I got to take care of something. Be right back.
So, my humble opinion, Eric's giving me that dirty ass look. He knew I'm going to show.
Yeah, I do.
Imposter Godzilla by Burley Vane. This thing is absolutely incredible. Absolute perfection of a figure. Everybody who has this in the collection, they know how incredible this thing is. And hopefully Burley will be getting out his reissues pretty soon so more people can get this in the collection because this is perfection.
Absolutely.
I'll buy it from you. I'll buy it from you. If we can work out an under the table deal that Eric doesn't know about, that would be even better.
No, it's already happened to me once. It's not happening again.
I'll double the price of whatever either of them offer you, just so they won't have.
Go ahead,
Adrian. How about a $2 bill?
I'll go next. I guess obviously on screen you can see I have the gigantic Mechagodzilla from X Plus. It's great. I just absolutely love it. It is spot on, for everything from sculpt to paint. I mean, everything is great with it. It's not the definitive. I won't say that, but it's up there.
Sorry, guys.
And then also, it's kind of a collectible. I'm gonna go with my Masaki Daimon autograph that I got from
whoever can control it. Put him big screen. Let's see.
Yeah, I got you. I got it.
Yeah, I got it from All Monsters Attack when I met him in Chicago. It was 3 years ago now? 2 years ago?
Oh, God.
I can't remember.
2 years ago. It was 2 years ago.
Oh God.
But yeah, it was a treat to meet him. He was absolutely awesome, and I cherish this because it was a Showa actor that I was able to meet, and as we know, all the Showa actors are starting to go one by one, and it's just anytime we meet one of these actors, actresses, it's gonna be an honor, honestly. So, and I didn't know he was the fake half and half black hole alien assassin guy. Actually, so that was pretty good. So yeah.
Whoa, I didn't know that. Damn.
Yep.
I guess it's my turn, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
If we're talking in my collection, I'm gonna say the Masaki Daimon signed picture. That's what I would pick. From AMA. But if I would have to guess, the other thing that I don't have, that I don't even know if it exists, I'm sure it's out there somewhere, would be a screen accurate replication of the Shiza statue. That would be my number one.
Ooh, that'd be beautiful.
Well, I mean, technically, this is the Rick that comes with the 25 centimeter King Caesar, but a 1-to-1 scale one, and it's a pretty sizable Rick. Here, I figured out how to do the solo thing. It's a pretty sizable Rick exclusive too, which I think is great, and just it's very intricately done with all the designs surrounding him. His big red eyes. They're not translucent vinyl, which would have been really cool, but regardless, this is a nice little piece. But a 1-to-1 scale one would be great.
Yep.
I'd put that in.
Somebody with a 3D printer out there. Come on, do it. Somebody with a 3D printer. Make it happen.
Okay,
Michael,
so
you're
I guess I'll get so this set right here, the FSL set.
Make them big.
The FSL
Big.
set right here. You can make me big. Okay. The FSL set looks fantastic. Oh boy. Because I was gonna pick the gigantic Mechagodzilla because I have that too, but I'm not gonna go grab it, and Eric already picked it. And then I'm gonna mention my Masaki Daimon autograph from All Monsters Attack from a couple of years ago as well.
Yeah.
But the FSL set, the Godzilla just recently got released. This was from last year, the Mechagodzilla. Both are fantastic. Both are made from the Monster Maker 28 kits. Both have incredible detail, and yeah, so I love this.
Michael, is that
Yes, sir.
74 Godzilla? That looks really accurate. Is that pretty accurate to the suit?
That is, yes, I would say it is very accurate to the suit.
Is it
I
the
second
best?
that as well.
Would you say it's the best representation that the suit's had?
I believe this is the
Absolutely.
best. I believe this is absolutely hands down 100% the best representation that suit has ever had. And if you argue with me to the negative, you're a fake fan and you can get your ass off of this screen.
So should I buy it?
What this was a great show and all, but I guess I'll see you guys
You
next
should.
time.
If you can, Elijah, I would 1000% recommend you buy it. Yes.
1,000%.
For definitive representation of 1974.
For definitive representation, better than any Bandai, better than any other representation that we've seen from
Defo
1974. Defo reels.
Any books? I mean, they just can't get it exactly.
There's like, I mean, we could go like to the nth degree and look up in our special effects books.
Yeah.
And we could dissect the suit in very minute, granular, annoyingly granular detail. But we're not do that today.
To the very
Down
pixel?
to the very pixel. Down to the very pixel. Down to the very the intricate little details on his skin. We can do that if you guys want to, but I don't want to because no one here would be crazy and obsessive enough to do that.
All right, Joe.
Well, I agree with you, Michael. That is the best looking 73 I've seen. So also as far as collectibles, I'm kidding. The gigantic Mechagodzilla, obviously, I think number one, the FSL set, number two, the Masaki Daimon autograph I also got at All Monsters Attack, which was really cool. But somebody in the chat said that the remote control Mechagodzilla, I think, is obviously up there as well, for sure.
Oh, that expensive thing.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and
Sound effects, lights, and all that. Oh my god.
yeah, I mean, but who has $5,000 to spend on that, right?
Yeah.
But
Not Joe. Never. Joe would never spend $5,000 on anything like that.
No, Joe.
Last week. Are you kidding me?
Adrian, because I had to take care of something. What did you say yours? What was your choice? I missed that in the beginning.
Imposter by Burger King.
The custom sculpted Imposterzilla. He's
Absolute
redoing that
perfection.
currently, is he not? Isn't he
Yeah.
in the works of doing that again?
Mhm.
Well,
Have it, make sure you get it.
speaking of all the memorabilia, I have pretty much all of it. I have every single toy right here. I got all the stuff. I agree with Michael. After a minute amount of hairdryer work, when you open the mouth on this guy, it makes him look a ton better, just in my opinion. But if I'm going to pinpoint down to one that's unique and different, I want to go with the Marmot Parababy fake Godzilla, which I know you love that gigantic custom sculpted one, but I've always found the Parababy to have the most accurate look to it with that big ridiculous smile, that straight big toothy smile that he's got, the exposed Mechagodzilla arms on either side, those neat vibrant blue dorsal plates, the dead eyes, and just it's such a unique piece, and it's very sought after too. It's very rare and hard to find, but that for sure. If I'm going to go with the Mechagodzilla, though, I'm going to go with the Soul of Chogokin Mechagodzilla, which was SH Monster Arts before it was cool, with all the different things that it can do. You can push the button on the back of the neck, and his head goes full 360. Chest opens up, knee rockets come on and off. Just everything about it. There's so much out there, but if I'm going to be realistic with Mechagodzilla wise, I think most fans will agree that the gigantic and the FSL have probably got to be the best in terms of the mechanical titan himself.
Oh, absolutely.
But on a side note, if I don't accidentally kill my King Caesar figure, So this was my first film. Not only was it my first film, it was my very first Bandai figure. And this is the exact same one that I got when I was a child in 1998 or whenever it came out. I still have my Bandai King Caesar, which was my very first piece of Godzilla memorabilia that was not Trendmasters. So I still have this has been in my collection since I was a child. And how appropriate is that my first film was 74, and then also the figure was the first Japanese toy I got.
Oh, the things that figure has probably seen in your bedroom, Samson.
Okay. I don't have a retort to that. I'm not clever enough for that. All right. Let's hurry on through to the next situation. So
Boom, 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 boom.
So for now that we all know it's the 50th anniversary, anybody what would y'all like to see unveiled as part of its 50th anniversary? Anybody got any opinions and preferences on that?
I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna jump ahead. I feel like we've gotten like everything. We've gotten a bunch of Bandais what? I just feel like I just mean like we've gotten X Plus of Mechagodzilla. We've gotten Bandais, and the only thing that's honestly really missing is the fake Godzilla. But we kind of got that with the Bandai Premium. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is my answer is not a toy. Because I agree with Joe. I think we have so much stuff for Mechagodzilla already. Well, maybe Toho Maniacs Simeon, maybe one of those.
Yeah.
I would like to see.
Cool.
I would like to see that. But I also want them to. I want them for the anniversary for Godzilla Day to remake a brand new Mechagodzilla suit for their live action special. Yeah. Their live action special effects showcase.
That's a great answer. And again, it doesn't have to be figure wise. It can just be what would you guys like to see unveiled in honor of its 50th anniversary? So
I'm gonna go. So I already said like the Shiza statue 1-to-1 I'd love to see, but if I had to pick figure, SH Monster Arts fake Godzilla. I'd love to see that with like interchangeable like arms with revealing. Yeah,
That'd be nice.
That sounds like something more like That sounds like something more up Super 7's alley that they would do.
Yeah.
Oh, Super 7 could probably make a really good. Yeah. I like. Y'all got some damn good answers. Eric, what you think?
I'm going to keep mine plain Jane. It's going to be like 30 centimeter King Caesar because I do 30 centimeters and above. So, I mean, we got the 25 and that's great and everything. And it's a great looking figure, but like, give me a 30 centimeter, give me the 30 centimeter imposter. Like, just give me some of those key elements that we're missing for like the 30 centimeter line, like the super accurate, or give me a gigantic 74 Godzilla to go with the Mechagodzilla. Adrian?
Just like you, Eric, I need a 30 centimeter King Caesar, even though I do have a kit of it that I need to get built and painted, but I still want a 30 centimeter King Caesar. And of course, the little Rick feature should either be another statue or a Simeon, like y'all said. And yeah, that's basically it. I just want my 30 centimeter King Caesar. That's all I want in life.
I think that's a without a doubt answer for most folks. They really want to see the 30 centimeter to go along with the FSL, the two that we got right now. But I'm going in a different direction since I've been I've been collecting the 25 centimeter line my whole career of X Plus. And since we have gotten the Mechagodzilla and the King Caesar, and they've pretty much done every iteration of Godzilla in 25 centimeter scale, I really do want to see 74, even though, yes, we got the FSL, which is fun after some minor modifications, but I want to see the 25 centimeter version of it to tag along with the King Caesar and the Mechagodzilla that we already have. So it's we got it missing. So we got the 30 centimeter King Caesar missing for the FSL line, and then we got the 25 centimeter Godzilla missing for that line. And also, yeah, either 30 or 25, because I'm biased, of the fake Godzilla of some kind for sure. And Toho Maniac should absolutely do the simian. And yeah, I love all your answers, Michael, especially what you said about let's see some sort of let's not get Ghidorah 2001 in the shorts. I know that was
It's happening. It's happening.
But it doesn't make it. What, Mechagodzilla? Is it going to turn into Mechagodzilla? What the? Okay, let's see some sort of Mechagodzilla. Whether they do a exact replica of the original '74 suit, like they did with the Jet Jaguar, or I don't know. I don't know how they could make him cooler, but something like that would be badass for the short this year.
If we don't get a brand new suit for Mechagodzilla, I'm sure we'll get a gemstone short of it. Of Mechagodzilla, Godzilla against Mechagodzilla.
Hopefully,
See that happening.
Hopefully,
the one like the Rex, Godzilla Rex versus yeah. All right. Well, if nobody else has anything to say in regards to that, let's go to the next one. What do we got? I think we got 3 more left. Now, as of this movie, do y'all think that the Mechagodzilla is the most powerful Showa villain?
Can I go first?
Sure, why not? We haven't done that order. We'll go you, Michael, Joe, Eric, Adrian, me.
No.
yes.
Why?
You got to validate
You
it.
have
You
to
can't just
explain why.
Hedorah gave Godzilla a harder time. Like if you watch the film Hedorah, like Godzilla barely beat Hedorah. The only reason he beat Hedorah was because of the humans. Godzilla and Ghidorah, it took 10 monsters to kill Ghidorah. It took 3 to chase him off. Mechagodzilla needed 2 to kill him. So by all means, no, Mechagodzilla did the most damage to Godzilla, but he is not the strongest villain that Godzilla has faced.
Okay.
So you're saying that what the humans did to mess up his controller had nothing to do with him getting beat?
That's a fair point, but still, I think Godzilla and King Caesar had a better handle on Mechagodzilla than Godzilla did with Hedorah before the humans got involved.
Are you shitting me?
I don't think you're right. I don't think no.
Elijah.
No.
Elijah.
Don't you do it, Joe. You're better than this.
You're better than this, Joe.
You're better than this,
Get out of here.
Elijah,
get out of here.
it's me and you, mother tag teaming. I got you, bro. I agree 1,000%.
Get out of here with that bullshit, Joe.
Mechagodzilla would not have lasted 5 minutes against Godzilla, Mothra, and Rodan.
Yes.
King Ghidorah, just waking up, took them, stalemate, he retreated. He didn't get beaten to a pulp, he didn't whatever. King Ghidorah had to be killed with a combined effort of 10 other monsters. I'm sorry. King Ghidorah, the Showa King Ghidorah, I think is number 1, hands down. And I think number 2 is probably, even though it pains me to say this, is probably Hedorah, with number 3 being Mechagodzilla.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree, Joe.
I think that I agree, Eric. I understand what you're saying. I think that messing up the controls absolutely gave them the edge, but I think that Godzilla and King Caesar would have beaten Mechagodzilla without it. It just would have been a longer, probably more bloody fight.
Okay, guys, I actually have to go, so I'm gonna go real quick.
Okay, you go for it, man.
It's a triple threat, guys. I agree with Joe and Elijah. Hedorah is definitely stronger than Mechagodzilla, and the reason I'm going to say this is not even what they did in the individual films. Y'all tell me, how's Mechagodzilla going to beat Hedorah? Honestly, with all the explosions, all the lasers, and everything, there's no way Mechagodzilla would beat Hedorah hand-to-hand combat. It wasn't going to happen.
He'll just dry him out. He was drying him out with his
Just
laser.
dry him
How
out.
long is it
Just
gonna
dry
take
him out
him,
with his
though?
lasers.
Doesn't
How long is it
matter.
gonna take him,
And
though?
Hedorah's
Doesn't
going to
matter
corrode
because
him.
that's what
Doesn't
happened.
matter.
Nope.
And Hedorah's going to corrode him because if he
Yeah.
shoots his stuff on him, he's just going to slowly corrode.
Exactly.
He
No.
has his force field.
He's made,
He ain't never
Uh,
gonna be
also
touched.
That force field ain't gonna help against that
He
sludge.
can't fire his lasers. He can't fire his lasers if the force field's up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't
He
need
and
sure
also
can.
it's space. It's
You don't
space
need to.
titanium. It's not. It's not even
Hedorah's
an
from
Yeah,
space.
it's not even normal.
This because and so is Hedorah.
Well-
so how do you know it's not gonna be effective against space titanium?
Exactly.
So Elijah Joe, I got y'all's back. Hedora's stronger than Mechagodzilla.
Adrian. Yeah.
And on that
I
note,
just-
guys,
I-
I'm going to take off. I'll talk to y'all later. I love y'all. Thank you everybody who
Bye,
showed up for the
buddy.
stream. And
Yeah, I love
I'll
you,
see y'all
bud.
later.
Bye,
Love you too.
Adrian.
Yeah,
Bye, guys.
Adrian.
Tell Jaden good luck.
Thank you. Will do.
Yeah, man.
I disagree. I agree with I'm with Eric because
Thank you.
there has to be some real ones in this
You're
chat.
a real one. Yeah, I was gonna say
I'm a
you're
real one.
right there. You're
I
a
have
real
to.
one.
There has to be some real ones in this chat. So
Yeah, a real
eh,
one by a real freaking loser, if that's what you mean, just like Mechagodzilla.
Samson, you know what, Joe? Samson, go.
Well, wait. Eric didn't actually get. I mean, he kind of interjected, but yeah. What?
Yeah.
He gave his answer.
So go ahead, Samson, be the tiebreaker.
Yeah, Samson. Yeah, Samson. Yeah, Samson.
Samson, you look at all the details. You know for a fact that what we're saying, Joe and I, what we're saying is accurate because if you look at the facts,
Elijah is the newcomer. He has no say so in this. Oh, Samson.
I have
Elijah,
conducted enough research.
you don't let this tanning bed Playboy bunny sticker wearing motherfucker bully you. All right, you have your voice. This is
How did you know about my
2024.
sticker, Joe?
This is 2024. Your voice will be heard. You speak your truth, Elijah.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you.
I don't respect. Never mind. Nope, not gonna say that.
Samson, go.
You got to give it to my boy Mechagodzilla, man. He is a
Yeah.
unstoppable force. I mean, the weaponry, the ability to I mean, he really every fight that he had the upper hand every time. He fucking ripped Anguirus's face off. I mean, the fight between Godzilla and Mechagodzilla at the oil refinery when they did the beam match, Mechagodzilla's won. It overpowered Godzilla's beam and knocked him back. That's a lot of
And a
force.
pool of
And then
blood.
he
And,
just
and it also,
Samson.
and it
I
also
have my doubts,
damaged
but I respect you
Mechagodzilla
more.
so bad that these super advanced aliens had to rely on a smart human to help fix.
This is true.
And here's my other point of why I think King Ghidorah. King Ghidorah's first appearance took 3 monsters after just waking up to make him retreat. Okay? In his second appearance, Godzilla and Rodan were beaten by King Ghidorah, in my opinion. And then it took 10 monsters to finally kill King Ghidorah, right?
3.
What?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but it's not monsters. Let's be honest.
Anguirus, and Godzilla were the only ones that fought him in that.
And Minya, and
So,
Minya,
Minya and
Komodo.
Rodan and Anguirus.
Ghidorah was
Godzilla?
already dead by the time.
Yeah.
It was Godzilla, Gorosaurus, Anguirus, Mothra, Rodan. Like,
Vanilla.
Yeah, but who actually did something?
Yeah.
those 6.
Six.
Okay, so anyway, what I was saying,
So,
and then he also Mechagodzilla has the ability to adapt and overcome. He was getting his ass handed to him by King Caesar at first, but he started learning the technique, and his AI went into overdrive, and he figured out how to overpower King Caesar and start coming back. So I think it's more than him just being a control, because yes, he had the aliens that controlled him. They were probably monitoring his statistics and reloading and stuff, but I think that he's an AI that could adapt and overcome, and it really was because the humans doing what they did that he was defeated. Which, let's segue. We're going to keep talking about this, but the reason
hang on. I have a final point to make that I was going to make.
no, we're going to keep going on this. So
Okay. You throw them at both ends of the control console.
would Godzilla of King Caesar still have won the fight if it weren't for the human factor in the film?
I think yes. Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Now, real quick, we all like, of course, Joe and I know our stuff, and we know what we're talking about. But what's more important is what the chat is saying, because as Michael, you know this, we owe it to our listeners to bring up what they're saying, because what they say is right, and they obviously are the ones that know everything.
You know, I, as someone who works in retail, as someone who works in retail, Elijah, you know damn well the customer is not always right.
But you just say they are, so they'll get out, and you can say they're an idiot later.
Here's a point too that I'm gonna. Yes, I absolutely think Godzilla and King Caesar would have won that fight. I don't think it would have been as short of a fight as what it was, but I absolutely think. And here's my second point that I was going to make about like the follow-up films. In Mechagodzilla's second follow-up film, him and a partner could not beat Godzilla.
We're not talking about that film.
Well, if we're then you can't compare Destroy All Monsters or any other film. If you're
you're the one that's comparing, not us.
Huh?
You're the one that's comparing Destroy All Monsters, not me.
Yeah.
I was doing it in the sense of comparing first and last film. But if you just want to
hated Destroy All Monsters, Joe.
I never said that.
Which one hates Destroy All Monsters? It's Eric, isn't it?
No.
Oh,
I don't hate it, but I think it's pretty bad.
Him and Adrian, I think.
It's pretty bad. It's
I don't hate it. There's not a single Godzilla film I hate, except there's ones I dislike. But I don't hate it.
I'm on the dislikes end too. I don't hate it, but it's pretty boring. But I'm still going to use it as reference, even though I don't like it, especially when I'm right.
I just think that I just don't see Mechagodzilla beating Caesar and Godzilla. I just don't, and I don't see Mechagodzilla being strong enough to take on King Ghidorah or Hedorah.
Now, in the chat, if we look here, we have Nathaniel who says Hedorah is enough said. Right. So there's one. Oscar is saying, I'm with you, Joe and Elijah. There's two. I still haven't seen anybody back you guys up here. Let's see here. It looks like the comments are all on Joe and Elijah's side, because
it's a good thing they only count for half points. So
there's still a half a point more than you, and we're not going to ignore Adrian. We will never ignore Adrian. So that means we're up by 1.5 points.
I just don't see Mechagodzilla beating King Ghidorah in a fight. Mm-mm. I just don't.
All right, so you say that King Ghidorah got driven away by 3 monsters. Okay, mm-hmm. I agree with that. Let's dissect those. Let's dissect those 3 monsters. You have Rodan and Mothra, 2 of the weakest monsters in the history of Toho.
No.
Sorry, what?
Yes.
Rodan, Mothra. Go ahead, Elijah.
No, you go first.
Nope, you first.
The Mothra larva can withstand Godzilla's heat ray way better than most kaiju can.
It didn't withstand those lightning bolts.
It couldn't even withstand it being pounded by his tail. And 1 died.
Well, 1 died off screen, and we don't know why 1 died. It's probably because his birth defects. Probably birth defects. That's why you're not supposed to have 2 born and 1 egg.
The embryo was messed up. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you saying one absorbed the other? Is that what you're saying?
If you want to say that Mothra larva is super weak, I'm not going to argue against that, because I that's one of the reasons why I don't watch Mothra vs. Godzilla, because I think that 2 caterpillar thing is fucking stupid. Like beating Godzilla. I'm not going to argue with that. But to say that Rodan is weak, dude, I'm sorry, but like he fought Godzilla and was going to, I don't agree with that at all. I think that's I don't think Rodan would ever beat Godzilla, but I think the Showa Rodan was fairly powerful.
So Malik.
Hello, Malik.
Man, we are all over the place. So, okay, the human element. So
But
they-
hang on. Let Eric finish his point. You were going to dissect the monster. So then, if we're dissecting that, then let's let's dissect Godzilla, King Caesar, and Mechagodzilla. You honestly don't think that the combined power of Godzilla and King Caesar would have overpowered Mechagodzilla alone?
No, because as you saw in the film, they were getting beaten to a pulp. They were literally couldn't stand up side by side with each other with the barrage of Mechagodzilla's artillery. And the only reason why he stopped functioning is because of the humans messing up his controller. They couldn't do anything to him, like whatsoever.
It took Godzilla. It took Godzilla developing a brand new ability we've never seen before to beat Mechagodzilla.
Real quick, but are you going to?
I mean that happened. I mean Godzilla flying in Hedorah. Yeah, I mean, like that's not, you know, the nuclear pulse was a new thing that's now, you know what I mean? Like I don't think that was a plot device thing that just. Sorry, I have to sneeze. Sorry. I don't think that's necessarily fair because I mean we've seen Godzilla develop new things throughout every series or franchise. I don't think that's fair.
Real quick, who here thinks that Mechagodzilla 2, the real Mechagodzilla 2, not the fake one, is weaker than the first Mechagodzilla?
Unfortunately,
No,
that is a hard one to side by side.
I know people make that argument because Godzilla was able to fight Mechagodzilla and Titanosaurus at the same time, but I just chalk that up to Titanosaurus being so weak and pathetic.
Well, that was really only after the army came in and started using that wave thing on his neck to make him conniption fit.
But Mechagodzilla, which blew up entire sections of a city, literally from the ground up. Yes. I would say they're not, one is not weaker than the other, they're about the same, and one's slimmer, so it's probably sleeker. And they went and designed alternative methods for how to combat Godzilla, breaking his head off. Godzilla was doing a pretty good job at destroying or of beating up Mechagodzilla. Granted, it's because Katsura killed herself that she ended up beating Mechagodzilla, but Mechagodzilla took a beating to Godzilla. Godzilla was already on the winning end before Katsura did what she did.
All right, well, we're kind of trailing off because that's next year's movie. So,
but that's my point: is Godzilla in the following year was able to hold his own.
I mean, this is a hot take I can agree with.
Yeah, whatever. Shut up.
All right, I can argue back and forth, in all honesty. I'm so glad I asked this question. Y'all are all over the place. Everybody's making valid points. Mechagodzilla was absolutely just handing their own asses to them with the all-out barrage. But then all of a sudden, Godzilla comes up with the new magnetic ability to bring him to the ground and then hold on to him. And King Caesar did that body slam over and over again. And then he starts rotating his head the opposite direction and breaks it off. The humans didn't actually throw the pipe on either side of the controller until after Godzilla broke its head off. So it's hard to say because Mechagodzilla is a formidable foe, but the humans didn't really come in until after Godzilla had broke his head off. So it's hard for me to say because I love him to death and he's absolutely a menace, but I don't know if the human element was actually all that effective, to be honest.
Exactly, Samson. Exactly. So, with all the evidence that you
say it because it hurts me to say it, yes, but at the same time, I have to look at the facts of the matter.
And the facts are that Hedorah was going to kill Godzilla pretty easily if it wasn't for the fact of the new power and the fact that the humans created those things for him to use. That was more of a plot MacGuffin than the magnetic effect. Like, Godzilla's hand was literally degrading into bones.
What's the next question?
All right.
You're not happy that I'm actually getting Samson to think about this and actually start to agree.
What's the next question, Samson?
I have a thing up here. It's not. I can think on my.
It's a little broken, but we trust you, Samson. You know what? I respect you, Samson.
Shut up, Michael.
On a beautiful night like this, you should talk about love.
About love. Yeah.
Talk about love.
Here we are at the final question of the evening. We're getting to the wrap up of things. Love or hate the movie? How rewatchable is it? And actually, I kind of worded this incorrectly. What do you love and what do you hate about it? And how rewatchable is it for you?
I'm just gonna say it's all love, no hate. Honestly, with the human story, with the kaiju action, which is a whole bunch of it. Everything about this movie I absolutely love. That's why it's the number 3 in my favorite Godzilla films. And yeah, I rewatch it all the time. Like, it doesn't matter. It can just be on in the background. I'm not paying attention, but I still will stop what I'm doing and I'll watch the kaiju action. You know, it doesn't matter. I mean, I can put my whole attention to it and still enjoy it. I mean, regardless of what I'm doing, yeah, there's no hate or dislike for this film. I absolutely love it.
Right on. Well, Joe, because of Adrian leaving, it looks like our order goes to you next, actually.
Love this film. It's extremely rewatchable. It's one of the best of the Showa, in my opinion. We may have our tiffs and disagreements, but it's a great film.
And we're actually going to bounce down to Michael, and then we'll head over to Elijah.
Oh, well, thank you. I think it's shit. I hate the movie, and I would never and I'm never gonna watch it ever. I think out of all of the Showa films, I think I'll probably watch this one the most, and then probably next after that is either Monster Zero or Mothra vs. Godzilla. They're pretty tied. But this is probably the one. This is the one I would be pretty confident. I would bet my paycheck and say this is the one that I probably watched the most. Because like Eric said, it's incredibly rewatchable. Whether it's got my full attention, it's half my attention, or it's just on in the background. Like, I just love it. And what makes it great to have on in the background is the fucking score. Because the score for this is fantastic.
We didn't even talk about that, but valid point.
That. Oh my god.
But that's what makes this movie so, like, just a good thing to just have on in the background when I'm working or doing stuff around the house or whatever. Like, just the score itself. And then you stop, you watch a little bit of it, and then you move on. But like, this movie when Pluto TV started popping up with Godzilla films, like this one was on rotation all the time. And then like Tubi and all the other services that have, like, when I don't know what to watch, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla is usually in those like top 5 things that I'm going to put on, like, no question asked. Yeah.
It's a solid go-to. All right, Elijah, what do you got? I'm scared.
Why would you be scared of my opinion?
Because I asked, what do you love and what do you hate? And you got to hate something.
So, first I'm going to say this is Marusu Sato's greatest score ever. Out of his Kurosawa films, out of his Fukuda films, out of his Oda film, this is his greatest score. This is my all-time favorite Godzilla score that he did. He did a lot of the more, like, acoustic stuff, the more kind of atmospheric or tropical music, but here they let him loose. They let him go big and bombastic, a lot of brass. It's beautiful. This is probably This is up there with King Kong versus Godzilla, -1, and Terror of Mechagodzilla for my top Godzilla scores. It's Godzilla versus Anguirus is the track title, is the winning track of this film. There was for the 2000s Fathom event. I'm that dude that rolls down his windows, opens the sunroof, turns up my Bose sound system all the way, and blasts music when I'm driving. I'm that a-hole. And I played that track, and I got stuck at a traffic light. And the thing about that is when you are doing that, you have to act like you can't hear or see anybody around you, because they will say something. They will be like, "What are you doing?" And I had that playing, and I'm kind of like bobbing my head to it, jamming out. And this lady, like the backseat passenger person, rolled down her window, started hanging out of the window, yelling at me. I don't know what she said. I couldn't hear her actually, but I was like, I don't care. Like this is a banger. Like this is the jazz that everybody should listen to. I love this score. I love Mechagodzilla. Terror is my preferred one, but Mechagodzilla is easily one of the greatest foes that Godzilla has ever fought. Not in terms of power, it's not his most powerful foe. But Mechagodzilla is one of the most iconic, and he is one of the best. The Nakano effects, beautiful. I love how colorful this film is. I love how this film is probably the peak of the 70s style. As much as it pains me to not say Mechagodzilla is, but Mechagodzilla was harkening back to the 60s because of Honda coming back and kind of going his own route. This was the last true 70s Godzilla film before Honda took over. And this is the way to do it. This is the perfect way. It's big, it's bombastic, it's loud. This is one of the greatest Showa Godzilla films.
I don't think anybody will disagree. Whenever Mechagodzilla is brought up in conversation, people always tend to say, "Oh, that's one of my favorite films. Oh, that was my first film. I love this movie. I love the soundtrack and the fight sequences and the whole Alien Interpol secret agent kind of vibe that it has." And I'm biased, like I've said every single time tonight, because it was my first film. But at the same time, there's so much rewatchability to it. It's unfathomable how much fun this movie is, and it takes a leap forward from Megalon, the goofy theme that is, and it comes back to kind of a more serious tone. Mechagodzilla is a terrifying creature, and also, I mean, who can't not love a big bionic version of Godzilla himself? I mean, a robotic version of somebody that is iconic in our world for a first time for something like that to happen. There's always, everybody loves a robotic version of something else. Like, oh man, I can't actually think of something else, so I'm falling apart on my question. But
Mechanicong,
yeah, Mechanicong. I mean, to have a mechanical version, a mechanical doppelganger is it's timeless. That's always, everybody loves stuff like that. But there's nothing about this movie that I can't say boo at, except for maybe the idiot son character and how obnoxious he is, just getting in the way and causing problems, kind of like his dialogue. And he's like, "Father, I want to go. Is that okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, I guess." Just that he's kind of an annoying character, not to the extreme, but the scientist kids are kind of stupid characters. They're just kind of in the way.
You're talking about his brother?
No. The
brother, is that okay? Yeah. But also,
it's not father.
Not son. Never mind.
Okay. I was gonna say, like,
hello, mother.
Yeah, they're brothers.
Yeah, the brother.
brother.
But his dialogue's stupid. I mean, just who said it earlier about the space titanium? You mean it's from outer space? He's kind of a nitwit. But that's the most minor nitpicks, because I myself had to do I had to throw in the hate since I asked that question. I'd like, all right, what do you love, what do you hate? So there's that. Otherwise, this movie I play constantly. The fight sequence is iconic, and the special effects and the score. Elijah pretty much nailed it all, but since I'm hosting, I have to say something. So okay, I guess I'll look down at my phone too.
Did you go?
Yeah, I think I was like the second or third one. I love it.
And now it's time to wrap up with the conclusion of Godzilla beating Mechagodzilla. If anybody else has any shower thoughts to add to it, the floor is yours. Otherwise, I think we are at our cutoff point because it's almost 2 hours.
Who wants to go first?
You go
I'll
first.
go first. Oh, go ahead.
Who's going first?
Oh, I said any takers, not me. Somebody else.
Michael, go first.
Okay. I mean, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, happy anniversary to it. Like we've already talked about, it's one of the most rewatchable, one of the most iconic Godzilla films of the franchise, period. It's the best of the duology. I know I'm probably alone here. That's fine. It's the best of the two, 74 and 75, just because it introduces Mechagodzilla, and I think I actually like the bulkier Mechagodzilla suit versus versus the one we got in 75, even though I do like those aggressive lines, but we can talk about that later. The human story.
Oh, you're a dad bod guy.
Huh? Oh yeah, I'm a dad. Like I have a dad bod, so you gotta respect the dad bod, right? But anyway, like this film is just iconic. It's great. It's rewatchable. Like it's one of my favorites. It's top 5, if not like number 2-ish. I think it's 2 or 3-ish. I can't remember my list, but it changes. Eric gets mad at me because my list changes constantly.
Yeah.
But he's like, tell me your favorite movie, God damn it!
Because it goes from 74 to 64 to whatever else. It's like
there are just so many good ones, and this is one of them. So Elijah, go.
It's true.
It's very good movie. Go watch. Very good fun.
Very good fun.
Same. Great movie. 10 out of 10 rewatchability. I do think it's better than its successor. But I do like Titanosaurus.
Do you?
Probably more than, or maybe tied with Caesar, but maybe a little bit more than Caesar. Terra Mechagodzilla, obviously overrated. But no, it's a great film. I really do think it's probably one of, if not the best of the Showa, in my opinion. It would have been interesting to see if the box offices were a little bit better for Mechagodzilla and Terror of Mechagodzilla, what the franchise would have continued to be in like the Showa per se. But it's a must watch for any kaiju fan. That's what I'm going to say. That's what I'm going to leave it as.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, you guys all said it best. It's a great movie. We cannot keep saying that, but like, it would have been nice to get a budget compared to some of the other ones and to really see what they could have done. Like Joe, you mentioned earlier, comparing Final Wars and their alien invasion and all that stuff. And I get that, but like, then it comes down to the budget. Like, I mean, it's not even comparable to what they worked with to what they later on had, in the Heisei and Millennium series and stuff. So it would have been really cool to see them have a bigger budget and to see what they really could have done. It would have been really, really cool. But yeah, it's great. It's a great movie. Go watch it. Like I said, top 3 for me. I can't say any more about that.
That's all I got to say.
Easily one of the greatest. Happy anniversary to Mechagodzilla, the Mechanical Menace monster. And yeah, watch it if you can. Most people have a copy of it. It's on HBO Max, but the unfortunate thing about the Max version, it is only the Japanese one. It's not the English dub. It is the Japanese with subtitles. English dub is fun. It's great. It's easy to put on in the background. Yes, Eric.
I was just gonna say the dubbed is on Tubi.
Or
Okay.
not
Say
Tubi.
Tubi is the only one that I know of that has the dub. Every other platform has the subtitle version.
Yep.
Which is funny because in the Criterion Collection there is the dubbed version of it in Blu-ray. So I'm very happy about that. It's also the VHS, like the original, like the one that we all grew up and know and loved. So it's like I didn't know. Is there another dub out there that I don't know of that is different, or is that
No.
like what we got?
From 1972 on until 84, and then 99, there were no secondary dubs.
All right. Well, I think we can close things out because we are nearing the end of our show and the beginning of the Collect All Monsters show. So let's be respectful and close things out. Thank you for letting me host this show for the first movie to introduce me to the franchise. And I had a lot of fun. And I want to thank all you guys for being here and having fun with me. So let's do our shameless plugs. I am Samson West on YouTube and in real life and on Twitch. I am Samzilla Streams. So check me out over there. I do a lot of gaming and movie nights, even though I'm not supposed to, but let's keep that on the down low. And also, speaking of Twitch, this was our first time streaming via Twitch and the other platforms tonight. So we actually follow us on our Twitch channel, Monsters with Attitude, where me and Eric and Adrian, at some point in time, once we negotiate and get it worked out, we're going to start gaming on there together, getting into the Halo franchise. So that's my shameless plug, and also plugging our Twitch page.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can follow me on Bearded Kaiju's Unboxing Reviews. I review Godzilla toys, merchandise, anything that I get. And I think that's cool. I show off to everybody, and yeah, it's a good time. So yeah, follow me on there. I'm also on Instagram and Twitter. Obviously, you can follow us on our socials. Monsters with Attitude almost everywhere, honestly. Also, because Adrian is not here, he did tell me to promote this. So congratulations for Collect All Monsters for their 50th episode. That's actually happening here in a couple minutes right after us and everything. So congratulations on them. A lot of them are good friends of ours and stuff like that. So I just want to say congratulations to them. And then on next Sunday, the 24th, I believe we are doing our collaboration episode, Collect All Monsters with Attitudes, where we were going to be half of the Monster with Attitude crew and half of Collect All Monsters crew, and we're going to collaborate and discuss some really cool stuff and stuff like that. So keep an eye out for that and everything. We'll be posting and promoting and stuff like that. So but that's it for me.
You can follow me at Married to Kaiju on YouTube, where I review things, Godzilla, Power Rangers, Toku. My tagline is, I'm the rudest, crudest way you will see Godzilla, Power Rangers, and other Toku properties reviewed, unboxed, and ultimately collected. And I say that because I don't know how to edit. I'm not going to learn how to edit. And all my videos are done in just one take. So what you see is what you get. But I got a lot of cool shit. So probably one of the biggest collections out there. So check me out, because there's definitely a lot of cool things there. Also at Facebook, you can follow our whole group, as I'm sure other people will say. It's the Monsters with Attitude, Godzilla, and Kaiju Tokusatsu Collectors, or whatever the hell it's called. And it's a tongue tie. Follow us there, where there's constantly conversations going on. There's pictures of people's collections. There's videos of reviews that not just from us, but from members in the group. People go live in the group and just talk about topics they want to talk about, things they want to discuss, things they want to review. It's a really good time. And so yeah, that's it for me.
Like Eric said, we are active on a lot of different platforms, but you can follow, if you are active and want to continue the conversation on the artist formerly known as Twitter, X, you can follow us at MWA2024 on X, where I'll be hanging out and other people will be hanging out. And if you want to just chat at us or tweet at us or X Zeet at us. I don't know what they're called now.
Is that what it's called?
Post.
Correct.
Or post. If you want to post at us, I don't know. Just check us out on X. Elijah.
Well, you can also follow Monsters with Attitude on Instagram at Monsters with Attitude 2024 for all of that good content. And then, Samson, do you have a timer set up?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
The goal is under 2 minutes. I wrote
Hey, Siri.
a digest sign off.
Hey Siri, set a timer for 2 minutes.
Okay.
I'm ready. I got it.
Go.
Okay. Hello, I'm Elijah, and I co-host the podcast Kaiju Conversation, covering the wide world of tokusatsu, from kaiju and giant monsters to henshin, heroes, and J-horror. You can find us on any podcast platform you follow. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at kaiju_converse on all of those sites. I'm also a writer. I've written for GodzillaMovies.com, Kaiju Ramen Magazine, and currently I write for Kaiju United. My writing has also been featured in the book Giant Bug Cinema, a Monster Kid's Guide from Bear Manor Media, where I wrote about Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. Outside of writing and podcasting, I also served as a consultant on the upcoming Titanic Creations officially licensed Yongari articulated figure. More information will come out soon, but you can subscribe to emails or text messages from Titanic Creations to stay up to date with the latest news for that action figure on their website, TitanicCreations.com. I also produce bonus features for SRS Cinema, like the kaiju film Yuzo, The Biggest Battle in Tokyo, where I acted as an audio commentator for the film. You can order the Blu-ray on srscinema.com. I'm also a filmmaker and YouTuber. You can check out my stuff on my YouTube channel, ET13 Productions. You can follow me on X and Instagram at ET13_productions. I've also appeared in the kaiju film called Zillafoot. If you want to watch more kaiju, you can buy the Blu-ray on srscinema.com or the DVD from any major online retailer, or just watch it for free on Tubi with ads or on Prime and cuts.
Oh my God!
He did it.
You need to cut that in half again.
Congratulations to everybody out there. This was a fun show. Who knows how to close this out? I don't know how to do the outro scene and all that
well,
stuff.
There is one thing we always need to make sure our listeners know, and that is to
embrace
the attitude.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys.